woke up this morning, can't trust nobody, we living raw. When shit get gangsta, shit done bad, who can you call? Another day ducking and dodging the fucking law. 10 toes down in the streets.
What up, chat? Back with another one right here. I found this one on the channel. This one is called Thanos versus 20 Avengers. Yeah, so let's get into this shit.
I am Thanos, and today I am surrounded by 20 Avengers.
Hold on.
By 20 Avengers.
Well, that sound damn near just like him. That's crazy. See if we know everybody here. Who we got? Doctor Strange. I forgot his damn name right now. I don't know who that is. I can't tell who he is. Hulk, Ant-Man, Spider-Man. His name escapes me. Her name is escaping me too. I can't think of her name. I'm forgetting people's names right now. I forget his name right now too. I'm forgetting names. I know the names. I can't remember. Captain America, Thor, Loki, Black Widow, Bucky, Captain Marvel. Who the fuck is that?
My first claim is that everything I did was to relieve the universe of the suffering it could not bear. My plan to remove half of all life was not cruelty, it was mercy. Removing half of life was the least harmful choice.
You know, Thanos, I never understood. How can you live 1,000 years, devote all those years to one problem? All of that just to end up with such a stupid, hollow plan.
The plan was proven. It was executed multiple times, and it worked. The entire universe united against it, and not one faction could stop it.
Until we did.
And you had to risk the existence of the multiverse to do that. And what did you do next to solve the problem?
Bro, that sounds just like him, bro.
And my planning is bad.
What we do is never perfect, and we admit that. The problem is that we are...
Fact check. The Avengers have admitted to a few small errors, like creating a homicidal robot. Oh yeah, that robot was crazy. Yeah, that nigga was crazy. That shit was creepy as hell. Nigga just came in singing and shit. Like, he just came in so weird. Like, it's like, oh my god, this nigga's creepy as hell. Homicidal robot dropping the city from space. When did they do that? I don't remember that. Are they talking about New York or are they talking about another whole city? Starting a global civil war and time traveling to undo their own disasters, and yet people still cheer for them. At this point, the best superpower might be PR. This nigga.
Often don't have a choice, unlike you.
I didn't have any choice either.
You had an abundance of choice. You just wanted to kill. But violence doesn't solve problems. You were smart enough to find the stone.
Historically, violence has solved about 80% of host problems. Oh my god.
But not smart enough to think of doubling the resources instead of killing half of the people.
Double the resources? The more there is to take, the fiercer the battle to possess it. An excess of resources can be just as dangerous, just as destabilizing as the lack of them.
That is total bullshit.
I speak from experience. I have witnessed planets die.
No credible evidence suggests that too many resources destabilizes planets. Historically, most societies that collapsed from abundance were actually destroyed by greed, incompetence. So you could have just deleted that, genius. That's the thing. So to speak on a real life spectrum, like greed, we live on a planet right now where greed is a thing now. So it's just like money is greed for a lot of motherfuckers. Like money and power, having authority over shit. Like, that's the real issue. I feel that's one of the top issues amongst all the other issues for sure. It does become a point of like, it would become a point maybe of like, again, you know, when you give people an inch, they'll take a mile. So But I mean, honestly, you would have to just see how that would play out. And we talking about like abundance of resources, like food, water. I'm talking about like needs, not shit that's just like, you know what I'm saying?
Die from starvation, yes. But I have also witnessed societies' collapses from having too much, from the greed and endless fighting that abundance
I don't
fuels.
buy that. But even if your goal was to specifically limit the growth of population because you think it's the best plan, there are many other ways to do that, like random sterilization of half of the population, or locking the populations to a maximum number of individuals, in a way that once that point is reached, it becomes impossible to get pregnant until someone dies. I don't really agree with even those, but they are still so
Options,
much better
right.
than genocide
You really think
of
that would
half of all
stop them?
life.
You think they wouldn't find a way around it? We live in a universe where magic and technology defy nature every day. Do you
Man, that's the thing. People always figure out a way to try to, like, this is the thing, Chad, and I hate this. Real talk, real shit, no bullshit, no cap. Every time something comes out that is born, it's always those people that want to fuck it up. Let me fact check, read this shit. Okay, sources close to Thanos say that he used his Mind Stone to come up with the best arguments to defend his plan. Listening to him now, unfortunately, even an object of infinite intelligence couldn't fix that logic. Anything that comes out good is always those people that want to bring evil or violence or some negativity to it. Like, I used to bring this up all the time. It used to be an app that I don't remember the name of the app. I forgot it now, but it's long gone. But there was an app that came out. I don't even know how I found this. I just found it one day years ago. But the app was for people to just come and communicate. It was so cool, actually. They prevented people from uploading pictures, videos. You couldn't do none of that. You can only make a profile. But it was kind of like essentially like a thread website, kind of. But the UI wasn't set up like a thread. But you could just go on and just talk to people. Like, that's all. Nobody knew what nobody looked like. You could just talk to them. And at some point, they thought it was cool, and I wish they wouldn't have did that. At some point, they thought it would be okay to let people upload pics. Yeah, that blew the whole fucking thing. As soon as they let people do that, and then I stopped going on it for a while, and then next thing I know, they were shutting themselves down. So I'm like, it's just, everything is unfortunate, but every time there's like something good that is born, it's always those people that have to bring their evil and negativity to it. Like, always. Like, with great power comes great responsibility, and a lot of people don't understand that concept. They have to just do the fucking most just because they feel like they can. Nobody's gonna stop them, so why not?
honestly believe people wouldn't find a way to reproduce anyway?
On. You're really trying to convince us you had no other option when you literally held the power to reshape reality? They are called the Infinity Stones because they offer infinite possibilities. You expect us to believe you were utterly constrained?
Yes. There is probably some super complicated, highly elaborated plan that could have worked. But you used the stones. You know how hard they are to use. The more complicated the plan, the greater the...
It is important to note that the guy's plan B was to destroy and rebuild the entire universe. Real minimalistic approach.
Risk of catastrophic error. My plan was the perfect balance. Simplicity and efficiency.
And slicing existence in half doesn't risk things going wrong. Your plan is everything but efficient. A hell of things can go wrong. The first I can think about is how killing 50% doesn't leave you with 50% alive. People depend on each other. Children need parents.
Like, well, I was about to say something. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so the other thing that I didn't comprehend in the Avengers was when this nigga Thanos, like, we're just in the middle of nowhere with like fields and shit. I was like, I'm confused at what happened. I never actually did the research to figure out what that was or what happened.
Communities rely on key individuals. That instantaneous loss of half of life guarantees far more than 50% dying in the ensuing
You think I didn't
chaos.
consider that? That people depend on each other? That losing one life can take 10 more with it? I did, but dependency is exactly why balance had to be forced. I know it causes chaos. I've seen it before. I never got to try it on my own world, but I did see it work elsewhere. Planets that followed my plan rebuilt stronger. Every time the pattern was the same. Pain first, then order. The ones who survived didn't just rebuild, they built better.
That is what you always do, isn't it? You break the world, and then you talk long enough to convince yourself it was the only way. You twist every mess into proof that you were right.
And you and your friends love to talk about what's wrong. You preach your soft, easy views. Killing is bad, so you can feel clean while the universe rots the same way it always has. You had the stones, and what did you do? You used them to put everything exactly back how it was. You saved no one. You just made sure nothing changed.
No matter how great
Hey, I don't know. I get it, but it's the fact that they want people to. I get it though.
your imaginary spreadsheet says the results are, genociding half of all existence can never be right.
I wouldn't call what I did a genocide.
You killed half of the entire universe. What are we calling it then?
I didn't kill them. It was a painless erasure. They weren't going to get a better ending, even in the best case scenario. It was random and not biased. It can never be called a genocide. See it as a necessary,
talk about
natural
painless?
event.
I felt the horror of that snap, buddy. It's still by far the worst experience of my entire life.
Records show that Peter has lost his uncle to a mugger, his mentor to sacrifice his aunt to a supervillain, and dated in high school. Statistically speaking, the Snap is still fighting for second space.
You can call it whatever you want because you weren't
I
the one
experienced
erased.
far worse than that, and everything I did was intended to prevent you and everyone else from experiencing the same.
And who gave you the right to choose for us?
It's not a right, it's a responsibility. I was the only being in the universe with a power great enough to save everybody. And you know it best, Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility.
How dare you?
The quote originates from Spider-Man's late uncle. Using it to justify mass extinction is like a quoting Gandhi to explaining why you just punched a monk.
That mantra can never justify what you did. Great responsibility is the responsibility to preserve the right to choose. It's not the authority to force what you think is right onto
What if
people.
they clearly lack the ability to know what's right
They
for them?
still have the right to choose. You don't get to decide what's right, you God-complex maniac.
So, let's say, hypothetically, that the majority of the people of New York decide to start supporting the Green Goblin, for example. Would you let them do that? Or would you do what you think is actually
I am
right?
certainly not going to go and kill all of them. They will certainly be misled, but I will not try to force them to what I think is right. I will try to understand and see where they are coming from.
Interestingly, a remarkable similar situation once occurred when the world actually did turn against Peter after Mysterio. I'm assuming these are comic book facts, actually. Peter turned against Peter after Mysterio exposed him. He didn't quite understand and guide. I can't talk. He didn't quite understand and guide anyone. Instead, he asked the wizard to erase everyone's memory. That was in the comics.
And then guide them and inspire them to do what's right. That's the true responsibility that comes with power.
My second claim is, emotions have no place in decisions that shape the universe. The Avengers act from fear, anger, and guilt. I act from reason. I see the wound. I make the cut. Pain is irrelevant if it brings balance. Emotion clouds judgment. Logic brings order.
See, this is the thing. Let me finish.
You can't.
This is the thing. Anybody who know me know I'm super intelligent, right? I understand what the fuck Thanos is saying. But the issue is, okay, this is like a world known problem in the comic book world, Magneto and Professor X, okay, both mutants, both had the same issue, which was trying to figure out a way that mutants and humans could live amongst each other without drama. That was the original thing. Magneto is not technically evil. He may have kind of like leaned toward that way, but that was like, he wasn't evil at first. The issue became is that they both wanted the same thing, but it's how they went about trying to get it. That's the thing. Magneto felt like more on Thanos' side, like you have to just take it. You have to do it. Professor X is like, no, I understand what you're saying, but you can't like, violence begets violence. You can't like start killing people or doing this to people, or you can't do that. So Magneto will be like, well, who gives a fuck? They do it to us. Be like, yeah, we understand that, but also they're not superhuman. We are like, and it was just that back and forth of that mindset. Like his mindset was this, his mindset was that. So ultimately, like they wanted the same thing. It was about how the individuals tried to achieve what they were doing that caused the conflict. That shit OD. Word.
That Thanos when you yourself.
Cloud's judgment. Logic brings order.
You can't claim that Thanos when you yourself are a terrible emotional mess.
I didn't doom the future of the universe just because I refused to sacrifice beings I love. Beings that are actually insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
Acting pragmatic doesn't work when you're
I sacrificed everything, even myself. I was ready for everything I love, even my own self, to be erased in that snap. Because I can see the bigger picture.
Acting pragmatic doesn't work when your emotions are the reason you were blinded enough to proceed with such a crazy plan.
I didn't want to do that. I sacrificed all I wanted to do what's best for the others. I kept my heart in constant pain because I know the mind is the path to virtue.
You are only acting out of trauma. When you saw your planet dying, you suggested genocide and you were laughed out of the door. When it fell apart, you were ashamed and you developed a deep, selfish need for redemption. You were humiliated last time, so you would let nothing stop your plan, not even logic.
No, Doctor. You mistake trauma for clarity. My planet's death didn't wound me. It opened my eyes. I watched a civilization collapse because it chose comfort over truth, hope over balance. I learned that emotion blinds, that mercy can doom more lives than cruelty ever could.
Fact check. Thanos calls the fall of the Titan the tragedy that defined him. Yet, when he finally had the power to bring it back, he didn't. Sources say he was scared. They remembered the day he cried after everyone laughed at his kill half the planet slideshow.
Didn't act
What?
from grief. I acted from vision. I saw what no one else would see, and I did what no one else would
You
dare.
sound like I once did. Back when I was a surgeon, I believed precision and control could solve everything. Pain, chaos, even death itself. I was so obsessed with logic, I forgot I was human. Losing my hands forced me to learn balance.
Strange's newfound balance between hand and mind is, or heart and, I said hand and mind. Heart and mind is duly noted. However, his heart may have slightly oversteered when he decided to rewrite the memories of the entire planet because one teenager was having a rough week.
Now I let my heart guide me as much as my mind. I don't ignore emotion anymore. I trust it when it tells me
You always
what's
speak
right.
like a man examining a patient, pretending you see everything that others can't. You stand there, dissecting me as if I'm another case on your table, but I am not your patient. I am the cure. The universe is sick, and I'm the only one willing to operate.
Maybe I do have the bad habit of diagnosing. But allow me one last diagnosis. You've got a serious case of main character syndrome. You don't serve the universe. You think the universe serves your story.
Fact check. Doctor Strange claims to have overcome his main character syndrome. A statement well supported by evidence. In Multiverse of Madness, he was in fact not even the main character in his own movie. I'm trying to remember that damn movie. What was it? Wait, this is the one he was in that with Spider-Man, right? Yeah.
I used to think like that. I thought I was the center of the world until the universe reminded me I wasn't. The difference between us, Thanos, is that I learned to step out of the story. You still believe you're the only one who can write the ending.
Thanos, my problem with you isn't just what you did, it's your entire worldview. You look at people and see problems to solve. I look at them and see lives worth trusting, worth believing in.
Trust them to do what exactly? Destroy themselves? Because that's what they do. Every time I've watched it happen on world after world.
Then you help them do better. You don't just erase half of them and call it mercy. People have a right to choose their own path, even if it's messy. Especially if it's messy. That's what freedom means.
Is a mild way to describe the end of worlds. Tell me, are you saying I should respect the will of the people, even when I know they're leading themselves to ruin? You'd really do that?
They were not wrong. You were. But to answer that question, yes, you should respect their will, even if they wrong. And you should work to guide them back to the right way.
Then let's test your conviction. Hypothetically, half the universe votes for my plan. A referendum, a democratic mandate. They agree. Erase half of all life to save the whole. The people have spoken. Would you still fight me? Or would you respect the will of the people?
That's not a fair question. The people will never do that.
It's just a hypothetical. You say the people's will is sacred. So tell me, if they chose me, would you stand aside?
No, I'd fight you, because there are some lines you don't cross.
There it is. So the will of the people shouldn't always be respected. You'd override them, impose your moral vision over theirs.
That's not what
It's exactly what you're saying. You believe in democracy right up until the moment they choose something you find unacceptable. Then suddenly, you know better. We're not so different, Steve. We both fight for a vision. We both believe we're right. The only difference is, I don't pretend otherwise.
No, the difference is I'd spend every moment before that vote trying to show them another way. I'd argue. I'd persuade. I'd offer alternatives. I wouldn't give up on them. You never even gave them the chance.
And if they still voted yes, after all your speeches, what then?
Then I'd have to live with knowing I failed to reach them. But I wouldn't become you. I wouldn't decide their lives are disposable just because I think they are wrong.
You call that strength? Living with failure while everything falls apart? That's not virtue. That's surrender.
Hey, this shit going crazy though.
They're wrapped in
The
hope.
world isn't perfect, Thanos. It never will be. But that's not a flaw. That's what makes it worth fighting for. People stumble. They fail. They rebuild. That's how they grow.
So you've made peace with failure. Tell me, Steve, if perfection were possible, would you accept it?
If you mean a world without suffering, without hate, then yes, of course I would. But that world
Then
doesn't
why did
exist.
you reject it when I offered it?
Offered it? Killing half the universe isn't perfection. It's erasure.
I'm not talking about that.
Then what are you talking about?
I'll explain it in my next claim. My final claim is that the Avengers don't serve the universe. They serve their illusion of being its saviors. When I abandoned my first plan and offered to build something better, a universe without hunger, without pain, they refused. Not because it was evil, but because it wasn't theirs.
What was your...
I feel like, I ain't gonna lie, I feel like some people that could really say some shit for sure would be like, what the fuck is his name? Oh my god, let me Google this thing. Who is the black bald guy in Avengers that give the Avengers orders? Nick, god damn, I couldn't think of his name. Nick Fury. Nick Fury, for one. Thor, I think definitely could. I would say Tony too. Tony is also an engineer. So he's about science. So there are some scientists that they don't give a fuck about what happens to human beings and none of that. We saw, like, you saw that on screen. Like, if you niggas saw Venom, the Venom movie, the last one that came out, literally, that lady was willing to put people's lives at risk all for the sake of science. Like, she didn't give a fuck. She didn't give a fuck who died. She was gonna get her research on. She didn't give a damn.
New plan again?
You made me realize that this universe is broken beyond repair. So I offered to create a new one. Balanced, abundant, free of suffering.
Right. So you went from kill half to kill everyone. Big improvement. Real character growth.
Your perspective is too small. I'm not killing. I'm erasing everything and starting over. No one will feel anything. They'll simply wake up in a perfect universe.
We stopped you because you're not the god of this universe who gets to restart it whenever you don't like how things are going.
You did exactly that when I did things you didn't like. You played God with space and time to change the universe back into a way that suited you.
We fixed what you broke. We're not changing the universe to fit us. We're bringing it back to the way it was.
Which is what fits you.
Which fits everybody. Everyone agreed with our plan. Everyone supported
I don't think they will.
Fact check. According to a recent unofficial poll, the Avengers planned against Thanos ranked second in effectiveness with 97.3 approval, narrowly losing to Ant-Man's enters Thanos posterior, which scored a unprecedented 99.8.
When their worlds start crumbling again, you reinforce the same system that failed before. Tell me, Tony, you said you don't trust me with restarting the universe, but you had the stones. Why didn't you do it?
Because I'm not a crazy psychopath who thinks he's a god.
But you were in that moment, whether you admit it or not. You had the power to fix everything. End disease, hunger, war, and you chose not to.
My job was to fix what you broke. To bring everybody back.
And bring their misery back with them when you could have stopped it? You had omnipotence in your hands and you chose this? A world still full of suffering?
Because it's their suffering to overcome, not mine to erase. You think wiping the slate clean makes you a savior? It makes you a coward who couldn't handle the universe as it actually...
I'm the only one who saw it clearly. You brought back 5 billion people to a planet that was already collapsing under its own weight. Within a generation,
We'll figure it out. That's
like
what
they figured
people
it out
do.
Before. Your sentimentality blinds
Your
you to
arrogance
basic
is exactly
mathematics,
why no one should
population
trust you with
growth,
anything.
resource depletion, climate.
You see people as numbers
And
on
you see them as children who need protecting. At least I'm honest about making hard choices instead
Hard
of pretending
choices?
everyone can just...
Snapping your fingers is easy. Actually solving problems. Actually believing people
Believing
can.
accomplishes nothing when the ship is sinking. Action.
Murder isn't action.
Restoration
It's
isn't
surrender.
salvation. It's delusion.
Says the guy who wanted to kill literally everyone.
To save everyone, which is more than
You
you.
can't save people by erasing
And you
them.
can't save them by doing nothing.
Oh my God. That shit, the one with the guy, like, yo, what am I like? That shit be mad funny. We gotta watch that. Nah, like, this need to be way longer. This need to be like 40 minutes. Like, I feel like other people should be talking in this. Like, for sure. Nick Fury, Thor, nigga, they all should be talking. Like, what the fuck? I feel like this should be way longer. Part 2 immediately, bro. Nah. Other people want to talk, bro. For sure. Other people want to talk for sure. At least, like, if we had, like I said, Nick Fury to talk and Thor, only because, like, they are, and this guy, maybe this guy. The people that talk was fantastic. Love what they had to say. A couple more people could have talked, though, for sure. All right, y'all. Tell me what you think about this. Like, share, subscribe. Again, it's your boy, J Royal. I'm out of here.